Dun, 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 dun.
So I'm finally getting a chance to look at some of the new video games coming out for 2020. As I've been saying, I've been trying to catch up with a lot of coverage that I've gotten behind in. And the video game market, that has been a prime instance of me getting behind. But I'm finally getting a chance to look at some of the current games. So today we're going to look at It Takes Two, which is a new EA game. Kind of stained by the Star Wars market, but I mean, well, let's just do it. I mean, they're developing content by and large, but I mean, no, they did recover themselves with, Star Wars after a while. I'm thinking namely the Star Wars Battlefront 2. Obviously, no discussion necessary on all the press coverage of that whole ordeal. And all those Battlefront players know it too well, but they did recover. So maybe, again, we'll see where this goes. But I do like EA games, so we'll see how this goes. But some of their business decisions, I don't know yet what to expect with It Takes Two, but we'll read a synopsis to get a better sense of it before we look at the trailer. This is we're going to look at, I believe, what are we looking at first? I think, we're looking at the return of a visionary, Josef and Hazelight Featurette. Okay, I believe it's the one that debuted first. I'm looking at this in order. This is what it says on IMDb's, or not IMDb, on the YouTube, or the EA YouTube channel on their reveal trailer video. With Friends Pass, invite someone who you'd like to share this genre-bending, mind-blowing, co-op-only platform adventure with for free. Who doesn't love free? Play as the clashing couple Cody and May, two humans turned into dolls by a magic spell. Trapped in a fantastical world, they're reluctantly challenged with saving their fractured relationship by the suave love guru Dr. Hakim. A huge variety of gleefully disruptive gameplay challenges stand between them and their return to normal. From the award-winning studio Hazelight, creators of A Way Out and industry leaders of narratively driven cooperative play, comes a wondrous adventure where only one thing's for certain: we're better together. That's a very interesting synopsis. Now, there's parts of this, I mean, again, the narratively driven, that makes sense if I just read. Like, it sounds like we're laying out the narrative here. And I like narratively driven games, as they call it, like linear type style. I mean, I don't know if that's how this is going to go, but like, a broad narrative that you're, at least in some capacity, following along a story with. I personally don't tend to do that much cooperative play, unless we're talking about like multiplayer, like online. Like I do like a lot of the Battlefront stuff, right? The multiplayer modes. I don't know if that's what they mean, or if they mean like, oh, you're doing it with somebody that like it's actually in your physical location. I would assume in today's world that isn't the case, but I don't know. They might have like an online option for your partner, whoever that might be. But the genre bending aspect sounds good. The magic spell thing, as a Christian, I'm not too happy with the sorcery direction. So we'll see where this goes. But at least that could be, again, just baseline, foundational for the story. But we'll see where it goes. I mean, it sounds interesting, at least from the premise, kind of like a fractured love story that we're repairing, with gleefully disruptive gameplay. I don't know if that means in terms of the gameplay setup, or if that means in terms of the visual presentation. If it's a visual presentation, we'll see. It could be, if it's trippy, it'll be right up my alley. I love good visual effects. So let's take a look at It Takes Two. Again, we'll be looking at the reveal trailer in a separate video, and that one came out far more recently. We're going to look at to be specific, the return of the visionary, Josef and Hazelight Featurette. As always, we're going to watch this first. We're going to talk about it more. My condensed result while watching the video together. Normally, I would jump to a trailer, but again, the featurettes, which I tend to cover more so for movies than I do games. I'm sure this will lay out a lot of the development features, and may talk about some of the gameplay that we can expect. I'm not sure yet, because again, the coverage of this as of present hasn't been too extensive, other than just 2 trailers. That's all I've seen for it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look.
Let's do it.
I have no idea about this Hazelight studio, by the way. I'm not familiar with them. That's a beautiful game,
there are like passionate people, there are crazy people, and there's me. Okay, can you swear here? Can you swear? Okay. The Oscars, The Oscars!
I actually agree.
No apologies there. Yeah, I know I'm cocky. I can't help it, man.
After the new content standards of 2020.
I was born in Beirut,
Not about artistic
1977.
industry
I lived
anymore.
there 10 years. There was civil war, and there was a lot of bad stuff happening there. We tried to move 5 times to Sweden. The 5th time they let us in. And that's lucky for Sweden, because I've given Sweden a lot, My third movie, Zozo, it's basically about my life when I came to Sweden when I was young. I've done 5 feature movies and now I've done 3 games. And it's way hard to make a game. It's almost like the audience have control of the pacing of the story, while in movies it's being paced for you.
Well, it's a
In
beautiful
video games,
look.
there's so much to be explored from a storytelling perspective.
Is this the game or is this the Way Out?
There are some studios out there that are making games that have good stories, but they pretty much have one mechanic they like reuse all the time. The designers and the story writers are kind of like doing 2 different games. That's why I founded Hazelight, to keep pushing the boundaries of what is possible in games. That's what game number
Very
3
true.
from Hazelight is
Oh,
all
so he's
about.
actually in the game in terms of like the mocap stuff. That's great. Okay,
The
here we
new
go.
game, It Takes Two, is a co-op action-adventure platformer that will blow your f***ing mind away. The story starts out with a small family.
That's a very
Cody,
interesting-
May, that's the parents.
Is that how
and
it's gonna
then
look in the
Rose, the little
game?
daughter. So Cody and May are about to separate. Rose doesn't want them to divorce, so she creates 2 dolls out of wood and clay, and these dolls magically come alive, and you actually controls both Cody and May, and you could say you almost control
It's a
their
really
emotions.
sentimental
You're
story.
almost playing their emotions. There's even levels where we're actually making a mechanic for their emotions. So again, marrying the story and the mechanics. And I think for the players, that's gonna feel very new, different, and unique. They
So if I
haven't
understand
played
this
anything
right,
like this before.
visually presented
It
emotional.
Takes Two is a crazy
gameplay?
roller coaster ride.
This is really out
doesn't
there,
really
but
have an ending. It has an ending, but that ending is that the roller coaster crashes and you fly into the sky and get up into space. And when you're in space, you're like, "What the f am I doing up here?" And then maybe you get back to Earth again. That's the best way to describe It Takes Two, actually.
he seems like a very nice gentleman. This is one reason I love looking at Featurettes. You learn a lot about the game development. I want to go back on what he said. And I can't judge, at least on the first one. I'm assuming what we saw initially about, or up until about 1 minute and 40 seconds in. I'm assuming all that's pretty much all the preliminary, well, not preliminary, but all the A Way Out related stuff. Again, I never played that game. I don't know. I haven't looked at it yet. Maybe I have to cover it. Maybe I just haven't covered it yet. Again, I told you, I'm really behind. So it might be on the list. I don't know, depending on the release date. So I'll take a look. And if I need to play it, or if it's already out, maybe it's not on the list. Maybe I'll give it a try. We'll see. Again, I kind of just base that on the release date. Just the way I figure things out. I don't know. Some projects, I let go because I go, that is really old in terms of coverage. But then there are projects that are released in the years I've been getting behind that I'm trying to, get back on top of things. But at least from that game, I had a nice visual presentation. And at least from what Josef Ferres, sorry if I mispronounced your name before. I said on my sheet, Forres. So I misread it. Apologies. I guess it's Ferres. What he was saying sounds like a very interesting premise. Now, this one, though, It Takes Two, which is a beautiful logo. I love that. But the illustrations, is that the gameplay style? I guess it's not. That seems maybe more conceptual, and they were just kind of making it look very cinematic. But if these are the shots of the environments here, it's very colorful, very ornate, and very neon. But that's fine. Really does seem like outlandish types environments, except for some of the more secluded ones. But even then, it kind of seems like, I don't know what's on the outside of that, but it almost looks like a misty type environment. This plant place looks very interesting, almost like Bug's Life looking in a way. What is it he said about the gameplay was tied to emotion? That was really interesting. So you're making okay, marrying story and mechanics, but you're making levels where you're making mechanics for their emotion. That's going to be interesting to look at how that's going to play out. I don't know. I completely agree with him, though, with that sentiment. I won't repeat it the exact way he said, because I'm not a swearing person myself, but bleep the Oscars. The kind of, well, I'll tell you. Despite how you might look at it, it's not about the artistry anymore. The Oscars, let's be very honest about this. They've just gotten boring. I mean, I sit there and I'm like, whatever. I could care less. It just seems like a bunch of people in Hollywood giving speeches, and then none of the movies. Well, I mean, some of the movies are a little more original in nature, but it's just like the grandstanding. I'm so tired of it. And then the standards that they released earlier this year, I was like, this isn't about the art anymore. It's just not. It was really, really disappointing to see. I mean, on some levels, on some levels you could say it was with merit, but again, in terms of what we're actually doing, it's like it's not about, you know, highlighting the art anymore. And that's what really disappointed me. It was very bittersweet. This though, I love the video gaming world. They are doing so many original things in this space, and this is, he said, I completely agree with the sentiment as of right now. This looks very, well, we're going to see a reveal trailer. It's actually going to get to see how it looks in greater depth. I mean, you're really just getting about four shots here of how the game will play. But it's going to be interesting to see how the story plays out. But again, I'm very curious to see how the emotional mechanics work. And maybe they won't talk about that in the reveal trailer. I would assume that that's more so to give you a visual presentation on the aesthetics. But, and maybe they would reserve more discussion on the emotional mechanics for the gameplay trailer whenever that'll come out, which of course it will. Old games get those, I'm pretty sure. Maybe by different names, maybe different styles, but they usually tend to have trailers that feature the gameplay with maybe some overview on what to expect. But it looks very good. But again, it's very much an introductory look, which is why I love featurettes. And I will continue. This might have been actually the first featurette I've looked at. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. But, you know, for a long time, it's been a long time since I've looked at gaming stuff. It's nice to see some new projects again, but it's really interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are down below for It Takes Two, and of course, we'll have to look at the reveal trailer in the future, so be on the lookout for that. Don't forget to do all the good stuff for liking, subscribing, that bell, and of course, as I just said, be on the lookout for that video when it comes out. But whatever trailer we get to watch next, whether it's for a game or a movie or whatnot, I will see you guys then. But for now, thanks for watching this video. I love you guys. Love yourselves, your fellow man. God bless and peace.